Hey, hi, I'm Deb from Elite Mindset, and I'm thrilled to be joined by Stuart Walter, who is known as the athlete's secret weapon.
Hello.
I'm one of the few approved practitioners of the Athlete's Secret Weapon program, and this training has not only transformed the way I work with elite performers, but it has also profoundly impacted how I see mindset, performance, and potential. Now, before I introduce you a little bit more to Stuart, I just want to talk about my journey. So, my journey led me to Stuart's program. I was always super passionate about understanding the body and human performance, but it was my university studies that led me to be intrigued by the complexities and the power of the brain. At the time, I was also a personal trainer, and I really understood and saw firsthand how mind blocks affected performance. So, his program really came to me at the right time. I was working a lot with trauma and running a successful trauma program, but I had certain clients who needed to go next level. Not only has this program helped me there, but also it's allowed me to work back with the high performing individuals, which I love. Um, I can tap into all my knowledge of the body and the brain, and therefore I can up their ante. I can honestly say that the training has probably been the most impactful and professionally rigorous kind of training I've ever experienced, both in how it's transformed my personal journey, but also my professional one. What I gained from Stuart's mentoring hasn't just been tools or strategies, it's also given me insight, it's given me precision, and a whole new level of confidence in my ability to create fast, deep results. So that's a little bit about me and how I came to this to find Stuart's program. But I would like to ask him, he's handpicked the people he chooses on his program. So why do you place me in that top 5% of coaches that you've trained?
I think you've just answered it for yourself. I know it seems weird, but look, yeah, operating this, I want to create a collaboration of 55 practitioners worldwide who are the best of the best. And you've got that because you just said you've got working with the elite performers physically, mentally, nutritionally. You've got this perfect balance now. So I only work with the mental aspect of athletes. Where you've got someone who's a personal trainer, exercise physiologist, you got that benefit as well. When you look at the nutrition, the dietary aspects of it, you got that as well. So you've got a much more structured and balanced approach than what I do. I just kind of hit these athletes with a mental taser and hope that I guess the nutrition and the physical aspect of their training actually steps up at the same rate that their brain does. So because you got that balanced approach, I can see that with your passion for sports and working with the elite, that you can actually build a lot more structured athlete to be able to help out on so many different levels. So it's a no-brainer for me.
Thank you. Yeah.
Unfortunately, look, it's the program that I'm creating is it's tough because it's been 18 years of me in business and with no guidance, no leadership, as far as what I was doing. I did my basic training, but there was no one who really specialized in sport. So what I was doing was I was kind of creating on the fly, using gut instinct, using experiences of athletes, using the understanding how the brain works to be able to then go, oh, okay, I get that. Because hypnosis is incredibly powerful. But most of the processes in hypnosis are going back and dealing with issues in the past. Elite athletes don't want to do that. So the traditional processes, although effective in the therapeutic part of hypnosis, the performance hypnosis is totally different because athletes just want to go, right, this is where I am, that's where I want to go. So whether it's performance in athletes or the arts or business or anyone in the elite level, they don't care about what's happened in the past. They just want to go, bang, this is where I am. I want to change and become this person. So what I've done is basically handed over well, I've got a 19-year-old child, so it's kind of like doing that and go, here you go and mess with them. Because I've created this and kept it quiet and kept it secret to myself for the last 18 years. But what I noticed after the last Paris Olympics, I had two gold medalists that I'd worked with. What I realized is I don't want to keep it a secret anymore. For the other reason of, look, if I was hit by a bus, Not they go anywhere where there's buses, but if it was hit by a bus and basically I was wiped out, all these processes, the resources, the tools that helped these, 48 world and Olympic champions, they're just going to be gone because there's no legacy, there's no plan to move everything forward. And I've been keeping it to myself, keeping it very protective, hence the secret weapon. Like if you found the edge in your sport, would you go tell everyone about it? No, you wouldn't. So for me, it's like, I'm not going to go and tell every other practitioner how I do what I do. But what I realize is the successes from my athletes are more than me now. So what that means is I need a legacy pathway so that if I'm no longer working, I'll just go, look, I know my processes, so incredibly powerful, are still being used by professionals, passionate people about sports and performance. But it's also, as you know, by going through the training, it's not just teaching you the processes. It's you actually go through the program yourself as a practitioner, as a peak performance person. So you understand how it all connects, how it all flows. And this is why I wanted to make the training different, because I don't just want to go, right, here's the training, off you go. I don't want to just give it to thousands of people because it's going to dilute the professionalism on the surface, where already with a group of, oh, what have we got, 8, 9, and more coming through, it's created an even bigger, how would you put it, collaborative approach, a bigger momentum than I ever thought was possible. Because yourself coming on board and then other people coming on board is actually raising everyone individually. So the group and the power experience we've got. So these other 45 new practitioners coming on board, I'm going to be very selective with who comes on board. And I think I'll probably push more people out than taken on board. So huge credit to you, and to see you grow and flourish and develop through the training and into our weekly 2-hour mentoring every week, which is awesome and fun and challenging. Yeah, the growth in yourself has just been dramatic. And I know that if you can experience that and you apply the same tools, what your athletes and peak performance are going to go through is going to be dramatic.
Yeah, I think that's what's so special about the program as well, as, yeah, I live it and breathe it too. It's so applicable to, just my own personal growth, and then that makes it easier to really be able to relay it across to everybody else.
Yeah. And this is the approach. My approach is the fact that, look, I'm not going to turn an average athlete into an awesome athlete. I basically work on the person. So as I'm working on the person, they become better, faster, stronger. So everything I do is back working the person who's able to achieve this. I'm not getting the athlete to achieve better results. I'm getting the athlete to become a better person who's able to implement and execute the training on a better level. So bang, they perform better under pressure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's all parts of it. It's all parts of being the athlete.
Yeah. Why do you think athletes respond so powerfully to this kind of work?
Because it's powerful. They don't actually have to stop and think about it. Yeah. Okay. And I think this is a hard part. And it's what I find difficult is the fact that most athletes, they don't do any mental training, because where do they go? Most athletes think, well, the top of the mental performance and peak performance is going to see a sports psychologist. Then they go to a sports psychologist who may not have even played sport, who doesn't understand what it's like, who doesn't understand the pure sacrifice in every aspect of life to achieve this. And a lot of psychologists, they focus on the past. Where have you been? What have you done? And then they help you to understand what you're going through now. But there's not many psychologists in the applied form and in sports that actually give you a clear step-by-step pathway and program towards the future. Then when you apply the hypnosis part of that, we actually go in, not so you have to think of a happy place, but of course you're going to be in a happy place because it's going to be automatic.
Yeah.
Okay? So you don't have to think about managing nerves and doubts and fears. Why would you manage it if you didn't have them?
Yeah.
Why do you have to worry about stress and stress management if you're not stressed?
Yeah.
So therefore, why do you have to think, oh, I'm standing on top of a 10-meter platform about to dive in head first 10 meters down into a pool? Yet the best sports psychologist in Australia at that time to that athlete said, just think of a happy place. Now, I don't know if you've ever been up on top of a 10-meter platform and looked down, but you do that. And when you're under pressure, just say the world's watching you, you get the camera shoved straight in your face. And there you are, you've got to dive off this thing, spin, flip, twist, and land on your head. Hopefully. And the whole concept of think of a happy place, it doesn't work. So unfortunately, sports psychologists are very backward in their thinking. I've met a few that are really driven towards the future, but they don't seem to have the tools to be able to support these athletes. I'm like, oh, just got to do this, this, this. Yeah, you might just got to do this, but why are you not doing it? What's the basic fundamentals within the brain that said, why aren't you doing it now? Why are you getting nervous? Why are you getting upset? Why are you questioning and doubting yourself?
I think that's the simplicity of the thought process and in just getting those athletes to think differently. And it's, you know, you don't have to go into the depths of trying to psychoanalyze because it's actually it's all up here. It's
Yeah,
just
and
it's
look,
tweaking.
having been an athlete, and I've been in martial arts, so I know the person I am. You know me, you've met me. You probably couldn't imagine that my sport was elite levels of my martial arts and taekwondo. So for me, it's like that's not the person I am. So I actually had to, and this is the person I had to go and compete like this. But the problem is my personal traits weren't beneficial in fighting, so I actually had to pull them out and create this new avatar that is the athlete that goes to perform. So I don't need to worry about all my childhood traumas and dramas and my parents and all the stuff that could have happened in the past. I just simply go, well, I know when it comes to competition, that's the person that steps up and steps into the zone. They go and perform, they step back out. But as soon as they step back out, if there's a certain experience or benefit by being this athlete, then they can come back and they build the person up. So the athlete can actually build the person, and the person separated will allow the athlete to do a much better job.
Yeah.
You find anywhere else in the, I guess, in the world that's got that sort of approach?
Yeah, completely.
Within hypnosis, we're taught a process called parts integration, and you probably hear it a lot of people in your own conversation. Oh, part of me wants to, a part of me doesn't. Well, the whole concept of the parts integration is to actually do this and bring every part of you together. Within a sport and performance, and even in business, if this is a person, I was horrible. I was average at best within my martial arts. It wasn't until I did this and separated that was the person that went to do this. So I found a very clear disconnection with the athlete and with the person and with the trainer and what I actually had to do. Me as a person, I'm got a 6 meter by 6 meter square mat, and I'm choosing to step onto that with someone who's in front of me trained to kill me. That's not a sport. That's a life and death approach. But I was applying it as a sport and as an athlete, not life and death. But when I did that, that was the difference. That's how I ended up going to then local, state, national competitions, because that was different.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Interesting. Yeah, you're right when just reflecting on just even my stuff. I think I've always had that desire to keep learning more
Yeah.
and fundamentally learning just how alignment and postural imbalances and stuff affect performance. Being able to next level it with I mean, I treat a lot of athletes and dancers, especially coming out from injury. So being able to use this stuff as well to help, you know, post injury and getting people back onto the stage, getting people back onto that mountain bike is
Yeah.
fundamental. It doesn't just have to happen as a program in itself. It's got opportunity for people at any stage because, you know, we always get kicks in the back along the journey, don't we?
Yeah. And look, and unfortunately, it's one of those things that the whole skepticism and the whole thing about hypnosis is what stops a lot of people even experiencing it, which is so hard because, I mean, even I'll drop in the number again, 48 world and Olympic champions, because it's cool. Every one of them had questions as well. And they all had that belief, oh, what about stage hypnosis? You're going to make me do something stupid. Well, Yeah, okay, I can make you do whatever you want to do. If you want to act stupid, no problem, I can help you. But I use the example, even in our training, like
Yeah, very powerful.
if you have a stage hypnotist, okay, you bring all these people out and you go, right, here's a bikie. It was a classic example. He's got his leather and denim and tats and chains and beard and you name it. And he was hypnotized and was basically told, when you hear this music, you become a ballerina, the best ballerina in the world. And here we go, here's this bikie prancing around on stage. Everyone's laughing and cheering. But if you look, 100% belief. He was in that moment. He was no skills, no abilities, no talents, but 100% belief based on his perception of what a ballerina is.
Yeah.
Now, what would be the difference if I then go, right, I'm on stage, I bring a ballerina out of the crowd and go, right, when you hear this music, this is who you become. You become the best ballerina in the world with no fears, no doubts, no uncertainties, strength and power perfectly timed to the music. What's the difference? It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
So when you think about this, I've already got someone with skills and abilities and talents. All I've got to do is apply that trigger that says, that's the music, this is how you perform. So everyone's, I guess, skepticism about hypnosis and making people do stupid things, think about that concept by going, what if I get people doing stupid things and make them do good things? Because you've got the skill set. All we're doing is just releasing it at the perfect time.
Mm.
So whether it's a ballet, because I work with some incredible dancers and performers as well. If it's ballet, it's like simple. There's your stage. But then when you walk out, poof, there's spotlights. How do we get you into this closed environment where you just relax, you go into yourself, you trust your training, and you just release it perfectly with grace and with power at that moment?
Yeah, I was discussing that with people just this past weekend, even saying, when you look at dancers and everything's done in the studio with the bright lights, and then, and there's mirrors, and then suddenly they're on a stage and it's darkness, audience, and
Hmm.
a lot of it involves, spotting and that point of focus, and that's gone.
Yeah.
So, this program just helps them to get that, that belief system that
Yeah.
they can reset themselves. And I think that's the biggest thing. Like, I think when I've worked with athletes, just teaching them that reset model, because
Hmm.
things aren't meant to go perfectly in a game or a match, and the
Exactly. And
recovery is key, isn't it?
yeah, and this is where you look at any Olympics, any premiership, any game, the winner, I can guarantee, is the one that's able to bounce back better from any negative experiences. I look at even the Olympic medalists, the world champions that I've got. I know that they're on the podium because of the stuff they've been through in the past. It's in the challenges, it's in the turmoil, it's in the toxic, it's in the loss, it's in the sacrifice that they actually find the strength. There's not very often you see an Olympic athlete that says, look, I just decided one day just to wake up and go swimming, and here I was, never lost a race, always trained well, and here's my Olympic gold medal. It's too easy. The Olympian, I can guarantee, is the one that's most able to withstand and step up despite the past. Okay, that's where the resilience is. So then when you're under pressure, you can draw on that. So even when we set up the peak performance state for athletes, okay, we use the most challenging experience and the toughest experience, because when things start getting challenging or tough on field, on track, in your event, that's when you can draw on that and use it. But how many people, like a lot of kids these days, oh, it's getting too hard, I'll stop.
Yeah, it's just switching on the drive mode, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
like just
yeah.
absolutely getting into automation and refocusing. It's incredible.
Basically, it's getting direct access to your skill set.
Mm.
But most athletes fail based on this, the brain, because they're not trained to perform under pressure.
Yeah.
They don't practice winning. When I bring up that concept of practice winning with coaches, they go, huh, what? But an athlete, they might have a fear of success. So if they haven't practiced what winning looks like and feels like, they're more likely to hold back because it's something that they don't know what to do with.
Yeah. I think as well, sometimes you know, I mean, obviously, yeah, a lot of these athletes that they know what they want, but some of them haven't are gifted, but they haven't thought projection. They haven't goal set. They haven't actually given themselves the opportunity to dream.
Yeah.
And
this is what I've chosen. This is why I've chosen the 55. I don't know why 55 practitioners, but this is why we've got all the practitioners coming on board, because you're going to operate all exactly the same way.
yeah,
Okay, the same resources, the same processes, the same tools. Now, anyone who comes into any of the Athlete Secret Weapon approved practitioners, you're going to get the same processes.
yeah,
You just select the person that's more relevant to you. Because
yeah,
I can't guarantee any other mindset coach in the world. I know so many people call themselves mindset coaches, but there's zero training. They just call themselves a mindset coach because they once watched something that says this is how you visualize. Oh, you've got to manage your nerves and doubts and fears. Oh, you've got to do this. You've got to go hard. You just got to give it your all. Okay, yeah, that's great, but how?
yeah.
What
I
you
think that's as
now?
well. Sorry, just going in. I think that's where it's. I think it's really valid the fact that you request that you always ask for hypnotherapists, because
Hmm,
you know anything that goes into imagination and stuff. That's what we do.
hmm.
You
Yeah,
know, and we understand it from every level of
yeah,
science in the brain.
yeah.
So
And that's the thing. Hypnotherapy in itself is quite easy to do. Okay, anyone watching this can do it now. You shut your eyes and just go, two perfect words, just imagine. As soon as you do that, you've already dropped yourself into a hypnotic trance, basically. Because as soon as you close your eyes and you remove all the external and you go, just imagine, you're already starting to create things. But what I found is my experience with hypnosis allows me to understand how the brain works. Not why it does what it does, but how the brain works. The hypnosis is just combined with the processes that are more likely NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. These processes combine to this process and this process that when we merge become even more powerful. And this is all tried and tested for 18 years. This is not, I've got the secret, sign here and here's your $5,000 program, but this is actually battle tested over 18 years. And most of my clients, I mean, all the world and Olympic champions I've got, there's not many that I can actually mention their names. And ask yourself the question, why aren't I able to mention their names?
mm,
Well, they don't want their edge. They don't want their secret exposed to everyone else.
yeah,
Like international football superstars over in Europe that are on $18 million a year, or 18 million euro a year, playing in some of the best teams in the world. They're my clients. You won't know that because you won't see them on my social media. You won't see me doing anything. I'm not in their books. I'm not in their marketing campaigns. They don't go on my podcast. They want to be remaining separately and anonymous.
and I think we don't, you know, we don't have to put them on because that's how powerful this work is.
Yeah,
That's the point of difference, isn't
yeah.
it?
Because,
You know?
yeah, their success is mine. I can sit there for the 16 days of the Olympics and sit there with tears coming out of my eyes, just going, that's one of mine, that's one of mine, that's one of mine.
Yeah.
Know the backstories.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I'll use it, the world and Olympic champions I've got, they haven't left success to chance. Because you think about this, was it 6 days a week, 4 hours a day for 8, 10, 12 years for one event that may last, well, look at the 100-meter sprint,
Yeah,
less than 10 seconds every 4 years.
completely.
How do you know you're going to be in the zone at that moment?
Yeah.
Okay, I know athletes already that are focused on 2028 LA Olympics and we're 3 years out because that's how focused they've got to be.
Yeah.
But there's not many athletes who would even know what they're going to do tomorrow. I'll just go to training and see what the coach says. I'm like, oh, that's not controlling your life.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No. Special work.
Yeah. So it is very powerful to see people like yourself. Like we had our locker room this morning, our 2-hour mentoring. The conversations that we have, the success that we have, the community, the conversations about, oh, okay, so Deb's now doing this and doing seminars and workshops, presenting to this. You've got an international rugby player. You've got international this. You've got a whole school team and likely to then spread across other sports And all these people are being influenced now because I've chosen to release these programs. Like even other practitioners that we've got, some of the results that they're getting with their clients because they're doing something different. They're using the athlete secret weapon approved processes that I've kept to myself for that amount of time. Sorry, probably being a bit selfish there, but hey.
That's understandable. But I think that, I mean, that's the thing for me, that the whole process, it's so exciting.
Yeah.
So, really, it's exciting to do. And yeah, I love working with people because just seeing that light bulb moment and seeing that transformation, and it's not physical changes. This mindset stuff can transform someone's ability by that next training session, by that next competition. You know what I mean? You can tell it is completely a switch that has been flipped.
Yeah. But don't forget, it's the mind controls every one of your actions. So if your actions aren't in alignment to what you want to achieve, we know that there's an issue and breakdown in the thoughts, therefore the reactions and responses. And unfortunately, it's not enough people that are really kind of considering the work that we do because they think that sports psychology is the top of our field. But when they're getting inferior people, not able to do anything, not able to respond, who don't understand how the brain works, but it's okay to feel nervous because it means that you care. I don't know how many times I've heard that from a coach or from a parent or from a sports psych when I go, hang on, if you did care about the results, you would trust yourself. And if you choose your emotions, why would you choose to be nervous?
Yeah.
Why not choose to trust yourself, relax, and just go and enjoy the experience, and you get better results.
Yeah.
So it is really one of those things that, unfortunately, I mean, anyone who's watching this is just considering it. Just give Deb a call, have a conversation because it's nothing like you've ever experienced. People think, oh, I'm just going to be out of it, but you remember everything. Your results will shift, your behavior shifts, the way you react and respond differently. Your intensity in training is going to be a lot more focused. Okay? The ability when you go to events, when you go, I'm feeling really calm and really relaxed. And that's typical after my first session when athletes go, oh, I'm freaking out at my competition because I'm not nervous. Well, do you want to be nervous? No, but I'm just freaking out that I'm not nervous now. So I'm freaking out because I'm freaking out because it's so different.
Yeah.
When you come back and step into that level of control, this is why it works so well because you're forward thinkers. You think you're working towards something rather than I'm running away from all this crap in the past.
I love the way you've always described that. It's like, so much stuff. It's like we journey from now and then everything's pulling us back. But with this work, we are so forward projected. You set that vision and you set that target, and the journey doesn't matter, does it? It's just about
because all the problems that people have got have been generated from the past.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing is ever generated from the future. That's just a fear response, which is based on the past experience. Yeah. So therefore, we get athletes and peak performers to focus on the future. That's where the solution is.
Yeah.
Past, that's where the problems, that's where the solution is. So when you step into now and go, right, what do I need to change behavior-wise or action or belief-wise? It goes, I'm going over there. What do I need to change now? So it's very fast, it's very simple. Just people have to reach out and just give it a crack because it's amazing.
Completely. No, I agree. I'm so appreciative of just even the fact that you did make the decision to share your knowledge. Like I can imagine it would have been a massive thought process for you just in that whole, you built this incredibly successful model. And then what do I do?
Yeah, it is. And it was literally two of the gold medalists from Paris. And I've just gone, I know what they went through. And there they are getting their gold medals. And I'm going, yeah, I've got to do it. This is just selfish of me holding all these resources and these powerful tools where I can get it out there. This is not about me, it's not about me making money. This is about getting it out there more.
Yeah.
And I'm actually benefiting even more through seeing every one of you all flourish and step up and to use these same resources And
We interpret it each in our own way, don't we? And that's
you're
what's
getting the
special.
results. I mean, the presentation you did for a rugby team.
Yeah.
Now they've called you back in. You've got an international rugby player because of it. Hockey is next, and then you're going to take that over. So it's so rewarding watching that happen. It's like I call them my kids when they go to the Olympics, or I sit there and watch football or motor racing on the weekend. I'm sitting there and watching them all because I know the stories. And I'm like a proud father going, yeah, these are my kids. I've done this. And it's exactly the same with the group that we've got in the collaboration.
Yeah.
Just go, wow, I'm so humbled and so honoured to be part of this, to be able to share this, to see the results that you're getting. So it's, yes, yeah, it's
I
brilliant.
think as well, just even, I mean, like part of what you offer, which is so great, is just the fact that we have that ongoing like mentoring program too, you know. So and it just keeps it just, I think even as a collective group when we talk, we keep inspiring each other as well, you know, because we all have this own interpretation model of how we perceive your work, and then that gives us the opportunity to grow it in with our skill set.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I love about it too. It's not, you know, as you've always said, you're not creating mini yous. We all do this in our own way.
Yeah.
To just, yeah, to just be there for the client and just be there for the individual, and make it a completely individualized program.
Yeah.
Keeping those core essentials of what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I know that with the training that we've done, every practitioner comes out of just the intense training that we do in the initial block.
Yeah.
The information, the knowledge, the tools and resources would put you, I keep saying, about 12 to 13 years into my journey.
Yeah.
So I know that 12 to 13 years in my journey, I was just starting to get that mastery level. Okay, because I know the stuff I did in the early days, I just go, oh, that was a bit average. But we've only got to be a little bit ahead of our client base. So with that 12 to 13 years of experience in doing different things, here's the processes, here's the tools, here's the mentoring. But in knowing so many sports psychs and wellness coaches and mindset coaches and counseling models and what's the other one? Mindfulness coaches. It just does my head in because I see so many of them. I just go, our collaboration, we've got to be in the top 5% of people worldwide as practitioners.
Yeah.
So you can come out of that training with the confidence to go, yeah, we can do this. Yeah. Because we think differently, we act differently. And this is the benefit for the athlete.
Well, I think we believe in ourselves as well. I mean, it's fundamental. So even just, you know, we believe in the program, we believe in ourselves, and we believe in what we can offer, and we believe in our collective group. Yeah. So, I mean, all of that takes the whole.
And it's really good benefit for any athlete or even an athlete within a team to understand that, hey, look, we've been there. We are business owners, but we're also, everything we do is an educated guess. But we've got a skill set, but we think we're doing the right thing. As an athlete, how do you work on mindset? Okay, well, you go to the Olympics. Well, you don't go to the Olympics, but you listen to the Olympics, and every interview, they shove a microphone in your face and go, what was your mindset coming into this? What was your mindset in the race? You listen to that now, and it's like no one ever talks about what's your nutritional plan, how is your sleeping, how is your training been? They're all talking about mindset. So it is important, but no one seems to do any direct mindset work. They're all going, if I train harder, that'll make me more resilient. You go, no, it doesn't, because if you train harder, your body's going to start failing.
Yeah.
Working on your mind is going to stop you working hard, start working smart.
Yeah.
So if you want better results in less effort, give Deb a call. Yeah.
No, even that little bit of knowledge of just going, you know, yeah, putting more in doesn't necessarily mean more gain.
Yeah, and I can guarantee every athlete and every peak performer in business that I work with, the first thing I have to do is slow them down.
Yeah.
They're all burnt out.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about a case study this morning with one of my swimmers. Guess what? He's burnt out.
Yeah. Which
is why that the brain is not letting him step back up to peak performance, because the brain goes, no, you burnt me out once before, you're not listening. I'm not going to give you any more. So he's on the verge of stopping and quitting.
And I think the pressure of society, the pressure of like peer groups and everything, that's increasing that demand.
Yeah, and even more so these days with athletes. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
So
so much pressure on them at an early age. They're pushing. If it's not the coaches, it's the parents. If it's not the parents and coaches and teachers, it'll be friends and it'll be themselves.
yeah,
There's so much pressure on to perform, and every world champion seems to be younger and younger and younger.
yeah. I think that's what I really like about just our little bit that we work when we work with the fears and the doubts. Half of what we're doing is we're removing all of that external input.
Yeah, it's all the external stuff. Like I said, if we can separate the athlete, we only need to deal with the athlete issues.
Yeah.
We're not dealing with physical, emotional, financial, schools, relationships, finances, issues. We just got to deal with this.
Completely. Yeah.
So very easy. Yeah, so quite simple. Give Deb a call, have a conversation with her about the best approach, because the same resources and the same tools that I've been creating over the last 18 years with the World and Olympic champions are the same ones Deb gets access to. And if there's any questions there, guess what? I have a phone, Deb has a phone, we've got a hotline, and we get things sorted out and we know exactly what we're doing. So just, yeah, absolutely give it a crack for sure.
Perfect. Well, thanks, Stuart. Thanks for your time as always. Really appreciate it. And great.
Yeah, it is different. You're going to get different results though. So stop doing the same as everyone else. Actually, I use this one for a lot of athletes. If you do the same as everyone else, you can only expect to be average.
Exactly.
Okay? You're at the elite level in sport. If you're doing the same as everyone else, you can only expect to be average at the elite level.
Yeah.
Got to do something different.
Completely.
Yeah. Cool.
Perfect. Thanks, Stuart.
Thank you, my friend. I will talk to you very shortly.
Bye.
See ya.